Fans of a Horus Heresy, thank you very much for joining me for an out-of-the-pack review of one of the most unusual and rare Forge World kits that is currently available. And this is the latest video in my series on the Mars pattern Warlord Titan. And this most unusual of kits is the Mars Beta Warlord Titan head. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's three heads available for the Mars pattern Warlord Titan. There is the Mars Alpha pattern, which is what you might almost call the default head, and the head that you see fitted to the original studio model and the head that was originally released with the kit. The second head is the Mars Lucius pattern, which is based around the Lucius pattern Warlord Titan from the Epic game back in the 90s. And then finally, the third option is this one, the Mars Beta Warlord head. What sets this head apart is the fact that you can only buy it at Warhammer World, or I think events where Forge World go to, so things like Warhammer Fest and other trade shows. So yeah, it's hard to get hold of unless you can geographically put yourself in the right place to buy it. Anyway, I bought this head for my Warlord, and what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to unbox this and show you the parts. Now, I've had this kit a while, I've already done most of the cleanup and filling, so yeah, I'm kind of like going over some old ground, but I can still share with you what the kit has been like to actually have and prepare. And as we do this unboxing, there is a little bit of a sting in the tail with this model if you're choosing this as a head for your Warlord Titan, and we'll come back to that. So just pop that there for a second. Right, so we'll first start by looking at the instructions, and as per the rest of the Warlord Titan, we get the new style CAD printed colour instructions, so these are generally pretty straightforward and easy to use. There is a picture of the head in question, so it's quite a heraldic, graceful design almost compared to the others. Maybe a little bit Greek as well. Yeah, it's definitely got something of a hoplite to it. Anyway, if you like the fluff, have a pause and have a read. In terms of what's in here, we get a parts list, the general information about the kit, and then just how to assemble it. It's a pretty simple kit, this. There's not that much to it really. And then it also shows you how to mount it onto the completed Warlord. And as well as the head and the crew, you also get these two heraldic shields, and every head kit comes with a pair of correspondingly styled heraldic shields, which is quite neat. Now, the observant amongst you may have already noticed something that's absent from this kit. And here we have a parts list, and we can see we've got the various components of the head, the shields, and then we have the internal detail crew, which is the Princeps and his gear, and then the Moderati in their seats. Now, the thing that's missing compared to the other two Warlord head kits is there is no stud miniature version of the Princeps, which, yeah, is a little bit naughty, I think. I don't know if they've started supplying stud Princeps miniatures with this, I don't know, but I think it's very, very naughty of Forge World not to include the stud Princeps in what is exactly the same kit in terms of parts counts, etc., as the Mars pattern and the Lucius pattern heads. Anyway, of course, me being me, I didn't take that as an answer. We'll come to that in a moment. Okay, so yeah, it comes in one of these white Forge World boxes, and it's quite light. There's not really much in this as far as a kit goes. The cost of this is £60. I suppose it does have quite a few components, and it's component count that always drives the kit cost up in Forge World models. But it's part of the overall Titan, so you know, once you made the decision that you're going to buy it, it's just part of an overall big cost. So we get a bag of parts. I've packaged this up pretty much as I remember it coming, so I've not added any additional packaging. Right, so these are the head parts, and then we get the crew. Start off by looking at the head pieces. Let's start with these two. So these are the two components that go together to form the front head shield. And looking at these parts, I mean, in general, the casting quality was pretty good on this. There were a few mold seams to remove, which I guess is part of the course. They weren't so big as to cause any issues. However, there was a lot of air bubbling on this model, and I had to spend quite a bit of time filling details in. And you'll see little yellow areas throughout this kit as I'm showing it to you. And that's where I filled air bubbles. However, that said, On the inside, we do have lots of delicious detailing in the suitably steampunky, gothic-y, crude Imperium style of tech that we all so love. And this is a very nicely detailed piece because we've got the sensor and targeting arrays of a Warlord. And it's an interesting mixture of functional design and also Baroque, medieval, also Greco styling as well. And if you wonder what I mean by the Greco styling, if you have a look at a picture of a Greek hoplite helmet, you will probably understand. Then we've got this part, which is kind of a floor of the head. So this is kind of like the main crew area. There was a big air bubble at the back there that I had to fill. I've not done any bending on this yet. They might need a little bit before I stick it together, but it's pretty good. These are the two seats for the Moderati. Here is the locating point for the Princeps's throne. Got detail on the rear of it. There was a lot of air bubbling on the underside of this. Yeah, this whole kit was air bubbly-licious. Some of it I can understand because it's difficult with these fine details to get all the air out. I can see and make a mould in an orientation which will always release it, but yeah, still it feels like it was very air bubbly. So that's those bits. Now there's two cheeks. I've not washed these parts yet. They definitely need a wash there. I can feel the release agent on them are a bit slippy, but these are nice and they're kind of mirror images of one another. And you have the internal detailing continued on the inside. So clearly this is a great candidate for magnetisation. Right, then moving to the rear of the crew compartment, we have the main door, and then we have the neck that is going to mount onto the body of the Titan like so. You can see that there's some filling here that I'm part way through doing. There's quite a big mould slip here that's needed rebuilding, various bits of air bubbling around here, and unfortunately one of the rivet details got lost there, so I'm not sure if I'm going to replace that or not. I might buy some rivets from Zinj or do it with some green stuff, but it's in a bit of a hidden away place. You do get this door detail as well, which is cool. And then moving to the upper part of the head, we've got the actual forehead and cowl, I might say. Big air bubble there. Some mould slips that didn't clean out, so I've had to fill those there. And more air bubbles dotted around here. More air bubbles on the inside, as you can see. There are just loads, and I've even there I've missed one there, so I've got to go back and do that. Another little one there. That just shows, as I said, this is a very air bubbly kit. But the part looks really cool, and I love the design, particularly when it all goes together, and we'll look at that in a moment. And also get two cable arrays. These mount on the side of the heads, and these mount on the side of the head. I think they were okay. There was a bit of a distortion there. I think that was an air bubble I've had to fill. Probably a little bit more sanding just needed there, just to smooth that away. Oh no, it's come away. And then the final parts of the actual physical Titan assembly are the two heraldic shields. These have got this sort of square top with these cutouts and then this diamond pointed bottom. Yeah, very cool. I do like those. The second one. Okay, so now let's take a look at the interior crew. So first we have the Princeps sat in his Mind Interface Unit throne, or MIU throne. And this is a beautiful figure, great study. He's clearly had a few bumps and knocks because he's got a cybernetic skull, or an artificial skull, making up half of his face. It looks suitably imposing. And there you go, yet another air bubble. We're all over the place on this kit. With the exception of that air bubble though, there's very little cleanup required on this guy. Here's all the cabling from the Mind Impulse unit that runs into the back of a Titan, or runs into the Titan's control systems. And you can just see here and here the links that connect the Princeps's brain to the machine spirit of the Titan. These arms are separate, they're just push fitted at the moment. And then finally we get two Moderati. So it's quite a classic figure design. These go way back to some models that were made many years ago. I think in the Rogue Trade era for Titan crew. And it's nice how Forge World have preserved the styling. And handily you get a left and a right carved into the model so you know which goes on which side. Right, now let's just quickly show you how this goes together. It does actually push fit together really rather well. So there you go, you can see the driving pit, as I call it. Very tight fit in there. And then we've got the left moderati and the right moderati. So those guys will drop in there like so. Then we've got the two cheeks. The neck. The princeps on his throne. He sits there. And the nice thing, it's quite nice how he's got one foot rested on a control pedal and one foot hanging off as if he's just in a moment of thought. And then the head shield sits on like so. Well, at least if I can line it up properly. There we go. And they have the Mars beta pattern head. I've got a little bit of heat bending to do just to get the continuity right at the temples here and here. But overall, the fit straight out of the pack on this after cleanup was surprisingly good. So there's not actually that much work to do in terms of heat manipulation. And then just to give you a little idea of how these work, that cabling is going to attach there like so. I'm not sure what that cabling is supposed to signify. Maybe it's some data link or something to do with the Titan's control systems. This is now rattling around because the princeps and the moderati are bouncing all over the place. There's the underside. As you can see, you know, the fit's pretty good. Might do a little bit of heat work just to get this completely flush, but not bad at all. Obviously, you know, if you're keen on your interchangeable parts as a chance to magnetize this head, if you want to then get a different style head in the future. And who knows, they may bring a new head out sometime. So there we have the main elements of the kit. The head, the cabling, the heraldic plates, and the princeps and the moderati crew. Okay, so you remember how I said there was a bit of a sting with this kit, that they didn't include a stud princeps, exactly as you get with the Lucius pattern and the Mars Alpha pattern. I drew this to the attention of the Forge World Custom Service team, and they then duly sent me the stud princeps model. And this is a guy from, well, it's the same model as that guy there. I believe that this was the one that's originally sculpted to go with the Mars Alpha head. Yeah, so this is a cool model. This guy's got a bit of a mold seam to clean off. See it here? It will, although that looks quite big, it will actually clean up okay. It's a nice figure to have, this. You can see he's got the same sort of reconstructed head or skull as a guy on the throne. And yeah, a great figure to have and just stand in front of your Warlord Titan once it is complete. So there you have it, the Mars beta pattern Warlord Titan head, Forge World exclusive kit. As I say, this is an unusual model, so I hope you've enjoyed this little tour around what the kit contains, what it looks like, and a few of my thoughts and opinions. As always, I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, so please do leave and share those. But other than that, I would just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.